Hi, what I've done here is stitch together California with Saudi Arabia, and the thing they have in common is beachfront property. If you go anywhere down the Californian coast, you'll find lots and lots of beachfront properties, and conversely in modern Saudi you'll find lots of the rich Saudis have also got beachfront property in the Gulf. It would be interesting if you put them as close as I've got them now.
This is my little map. As you can see, I've put a little bit of the Pacific Northwest up here because I like the climate. Suffolk
because
is
what's
an
right?
area.
You like the climate?
I like the climate, yeah, I like the weather. I'm not very good at temperatures, so I've put the Bering Strait down here so we can get a nice cool breeze coming in over. Obviously, we've got Nuremberg because of the Nürburgring. I quite enjoy that. Kyoto and Kobe, obviously lovely farming villages in Japan, and got Dungeness just shoved in on their end as well because it's quite an interesting area, but I didn't stitch it. So Norfolk and Suffolk, which is actually an area that I've spent quite a lot of time in my childhood in, so I feel quite a strong affinity to it.
I started off with the southeast of England because obviously I come from Kent. The rest of my family are in Somerset, but then my daughter is actually in California. So the idea was to move Kent closer to California, obviously because it was so much nicer for me as the world is smaller. And I thought it's actually not fair on my son-in-law because his family are in Wisconsin. So I brought Wisconsin into it. But then going over to Guyana, which is where I spent some time back in the 70s. I've got some very close friends living in Guyana, so it's quite special to me. Spain is very special because I spent the last 20 years in the summer there with my children. So this is all very family orientated. So you might wonder why I've got Afghanistan. And that's because in my previous position I worked with refugees. So I've got a lot of very close young friends who've had to flee the country, but it's quite special to me. And where I work now, where all the students are from overseas, they become my extended family. So I've put the whole world in because that's special to me.
I saw this one and I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and it's the different religions that are around the world, and then I thought it was quite nice to have different ways of looking at the world. So that's about the different religions that are around the world, and this one's about different grains that people, where they're grown, and then this one here is completely opposite and looks a bit stark, and that one is about where nuclear power sites are. So I thought that was quite...
I put Hollywood on because I thought it would be quite nice to just see all the movies early.
I've got Australia because that's where my mum was born, Hamburg in Germany because that's where my dad was born. I've got the Black Forest in Germany because we've got family living there. I've got Boston in America because my best friend from school is currently living there. And I've got Finland because my cousin, who I'm really close, is living there. And I haven't got anything for me personally, but all these people make who I am, so...
The idea is this is, I took a fairly linear approach to start off with, looking at places where I've been or have interaction with. I'm currently studying with people from Finland and Estonia, which is represented in this mapping, places where I can't really point to. I've linked them to parts of the UK that I have associations with movement of myself to different countries, which at the moment would be London, by towns where I live, Luton and Leicester. A lot of my travel that's represented here has been through youth work, which I've been involved in for the last 10 years. One of the early examples that's tied on somewhere here and there to the side of Kent is Japan, which I visited.
We work together as well.
And it's all places you would like to go on holiday?
Yeah, especially Rome.
To try to stitch the whole world together. Like I have picked different countries depicting different continents, the 7 or the 7 continents of the world. Putting them together.
So I have stitched mountains into the middle of Kent because although I love the kind of flat marshlands, there's something very exciting about high mountains.
Town, country, river area I chose is an acronym for Christopher Marlowe, and the idea behind it is that each letter of his alphabet will represent a town with a significance to his life and education and work.
Parts of the world that have suffered in earthquakes. So I've got New Zealand, Folkestone, because we had an earthquake, and also Los Angeles, who are due to have an earthquake, and New Zealand and Japan. Just thinking about people that suffer.
And as you know, the title is I am small, the world is big. I chose particular countries. I kept in between or in the middle, that's India, because I happen to come from there. And I look at it as one of the biggest democracies in the world and how it is working. Though we are divided into many states, let's see, to be specific, 28 states, and we have more than 900 languages, and we have different cultures, but then still, that's holding together and working together and still marching forward. And that's a good sign, I see.
Found a map I liked and started tearing it up. So in a way, it's all afterthoughts about it, but I think it's about disliking borders and oppression and wanting somehow to remake the world.
Together, a few countries actually. I basically sewed together Iran first of all because that's where my dad's from, and then below that I've got Dubai, and this is where me and my family lived a while back, and my dad still lives there, and we live in Essex now, and my mum's from Essex. So it's kind of like how close, yet far we are apart.
I chose Africa because I really like Africa, and that's really where I live, and that's where I was born.
It's all different places around the world that I can remember that are in songs or have something to do with music.
Amazing.
This is Ibiza and the Norfolk Broads, and there's a David Bowie song that goes from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. And then there's Berlin and Manhattan, Leonard Cohen, first we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin. And then I've got the River Mersey in Liverpool, ferry across the Mersey, and that links in with the Beatles obviously. And then the USSR, back in the USSR by the Beatles.
I've done the Sahara Desert and the Bay of Bengal, which has Bangladesh. Sahara is really dry, and Bangladesh is really wet because it has all monsoon seasons. And I thought it'd be nice to share out the water if I could, so that's why I put them together, and that's just a little raindrop.
My intention of putting these countries together is a desire for peace and equality in the world. The first thing is that the fact that we are from different continents does not mean that we are not all having the same source of origin, and that source of origin is what should unite us. And if we are actually united as a family, there will be no wars. There will be no disasters. There will be no hatred for one another.